Welcome to the Small Business Safari, where I help guide you to avoid those traps, pitfalls, and dangers that lurk when navigating the wild world of small business ownership. I'll share those gold nuggets of information and invite guests to help accelerate your ascent to that mountaintop of success. It's a jungle out there, and I want to help you traverse through the levels of owning your own business that can get you bogged down and distract you from hitting your own personal and professional goals. So strap in, adventure team, and let's take a ride through the safari and get you to the mountaintop. Saw a little bit, Alan.
I knew on the way over you were going to have all these little crazy dad jokes.
I did. Yeah, crazy dad jokes. Am I cutting it a little too thin?
Yeah, cut it a little close.
Am I a little too close on the shave?
You're reducing this to stubble.
That's what we're all about, Small Business Safari fans. We are rocking and rolling, doing it again, man. Hoping you're having a great week. If you're driving around in your truck, maybe you're doing this on a walk, doing whatever, let's get better. Let's get better at what we do. Let's get better at everything we are, Alan. Or let's run 100 miles an hour in a 25-mile-an-hour zone.
Or we could just stick our head in the sand.
We could stick our head in the sand and say, everything's going to be all right. Everything's going to be all right. You know what? Hope is a strategy. You know, I don't care what those pundits say. Hope is a strategy. I have hope. All right, Alan, we got to get after it. Big Daddy.
We got a big deal on the pod today.
I know. Eric Malka has joined us, and you're all fanboying on him and telling me, "Oh my God, this is great! This is great."
My son is going to go nuts when he finds out he's such a huge fan of yours products.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no, I cannot wait to let him know.
Usually, people tell me my dad's a fan. But...
Oh no,
it's
Chris,
good to hear.
You need now. Yeah, so he's in his, I guess, late 20s. And
perfect.
Yeah, no, I mean,
that's my core audience right there.
Is that right?
Young entrepreneurs, the next gen.
Yeah, and I mean, I love, I can't wait to get into this because, we're in an era where masculinity is toxic, and you've created an outlet in what Chris and I probably just do as a perfunctory chore every morning. And you've elevated it to a rite of manhood, a ritual, and I mean it's just awesome. So, come on, are you
permission to groom?
All right, permission to groom. So, Eric, give us that backstory, man. How did you get into all this? Is this what you were dreaming to do when you were 7, 8 years old?
Why don't we say
no, not at all. Although when I was 5, I was in. Taking a bath, and my mom left me in the bathtub for a few seconds, and I reached for my father's double-edged razor, and they'll have a mark to this day. So
nice.
It was probably a sign of what was to come. But it was in my mid-20s when I moved to New York City, and I found a job working in the industry of men's grooming for a distributor of British products. And that's where I get the idea to open a shop like the ones I've seen in London during my trips, my business trips. And I thought nobody had done that in the US, and perhaps it could do well in New York City. So, very simple, coincidental. I was always agnostic about the industry. I don't have a passion for men's grooming or shaving, as you can tell. But I do have a passion for succeeding as an entrepreneur. And I thought that was an opportunity. And that's part of my principle is, the idea is it doesn't have to be an incredible idea. It's how you execute things, right?
Well done. Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, so let's talk about the niche, the art of shaving that you started. What was the concept and what is it?
It was very simple. It was to open a shop specialized in men's grooming products in New York City. That was the whole idea that my wife and I had, scrape a few dollars together. We sold our car for $12,000, and we were too young to know that it was impossible to open a shop for $12,000 in New York City. So we actually did it,
So that's one where ignorance is bliss, and it works out to not have a plan.
Every great story starts like that, though. I freaking love that.
Yeah, listen, it's the truth. It's the God honest truth. My wife was 22 years old. I told her she had $3,000 to furnish the whole store, and she didn't know any better.
What now? When did you open it? What year?
October 6th, 1996.
Wow. And so, and at the time,
Pre-internet.
you carried products that you thought were cool, and you've now evolved to proprietary products. Of course, the whole
Well,
e-commerce came in. I mean, you've been
it's
through,
been a wild ride.
yeah.
Listen, from kitchen table to strategic acquisition in 12 years. That was really, really, really light speed. And we realized that it doesn't happen every day. Things had to align pretty well. But as I said, we sold our car to open the business, so we had no money to do anything except maybe, get the store open. From my job, I was able to get products on consignment. So I was able to get products in my store, sell them, and then pay for them. And fortunately, my employer agreed to do that. So thanks a lot.
Yeah, you were hustling.
I was hustling. I did what I had to do without breaking the law. But within that confine, I did everything I could to get done.
See, Chris, it is possible to do business without breaking the law.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that happened. Oh, my God. Well, lesson
Listen,
learned for Chris after 17
I broke
years.
a few, I broke a few rules. I offended a couple of people along the way, but I've never broken the law. That's
Okay. Well, I've done all three of those. So
well, at least I won't admit it on this podcast.
you're doing good then. Man.
When
Never got
were
caught.
So when I saw that you were going to be our guest, I'm like, okay, this is a big brand. And when were you aware that, okay, we've actually created a brand? So much so that my son, who lives in Belgium, is a huge fan.
Well, first we realized we were onto something big, and then we created a brand, and then we realized that the brand had potential, right? It was not, it was a building blocks because again, we were not a huge company, and it was a blessing in disguise, by the way, to bootstrap. I consider that to be a blessing in disguise because it forced us to really build a foundation from day one and not try to go, faster, not getting ahead of our skis, as they say. So 6 months after opening the first store, the New York Times took notice of us and wrote a 2-page article on Sunday. Monday morning, our business 20x'd overnight.
Oh my God.
So
back in those days, it was,
yeah, that's 96. This is again pre-internet. So they came, they interviewed you. You kind of went, okay, whatever. Figure it was going to be on Wednesday morning, the Wednesday edition, like the 27th page of the paper or whatever. When did you know it was going to be Sunday? And did you think it was going to do what it did?
Well, we did a big event with the Barber that came from England, and a publicist brought a lot of press to us. She loved the event idea. And she says the New York Times wants to do an exclusive before anybody else runs the story, because even CNN ran 3 minutes about the event. But we said, yeah, sure. She says, you should do it. You should definitely give them, we knew nothing. We were in our 20s. Said, yeah, sure, let's do it. And then on Sunday, the 23rd of 1997, we're opening this 2-page article in the Metro section, and we're reading it, and we're like, I don't like the way they wrote this, and they didn't mention that. And, we chucked it to the side. We had no clue what was the power of the New York Times back then. I mean, that was so like going viral.
When you went to work on Monday, you're like, yeah, what's going on?
He learned.
Well, here's, here's the funny anecdote is that my wife was, I was going to sponsor my wife for a green card. She's French. And a lawyer we met told us, you have to get married before April 1. The law is changing and we have to file your demand. So we ran to the city hall on Monday morning before opening the store, got married, and then we walked back nonchalantly to our store, and there's like a mob of men waiting outside, and we thought maybe there was a fire in the building or something like that. They had these little
story.
What a day! I mean,
what a day! Yeah, that was a wedding gift. That was a wedding gift.
Yeah, that's right. That's your reception right there. Oh my God!
He learned that any press is good press at that point.
At that point, we realized two things. We realized that barbering should not be an event that we do for 3 days. It should be a full-time thing we do in our stores going forward. And we should have a publicist on pay, on retainer forever, and that those two things became a huge driver of brand awareness for us over the next 10 years.
Wow. Did you come up with your branding on your own, or did you hire an expert to help you to take it to the next level?
It was a combination. My wife has impeccable taste. She's a formulator of natural products. She formulated all of our products, the first one in our kitchen. And we, again, the stars aligned for us. We were introduced to this great designer who actually had been part of the team that designed the Starbucks green logo. And she did work on the side for freelancing. And she came on board, and between our vision of what the brand would be like, my wife's creative direction, and that designer's talent, we built a beautiful brand that really we wanted our packaging and our products to look like our customer as a product. So pinstripe suits, gold rings, collars that were masculine, things like that. So that's how we started creating the brand in 1998. Once we had enough money, because of the New York Times article gave us the resources to open a Madison Avenue shop on 46th Street. And that was a game changer. That became a huge success with barbering full time. And the success of that store gave us the resources to start our own brand.
That was more than 12 grand to open that
That
store.
was, believe it or not, it wasn't that much more. It was maybe 75 grand. Eventually,
To go on
our
Madison Ave.
stores. Yeah, we were lucky. I mean, I remember we ripped off the paper, the carpet from the store, and there were pristine wood floors throughout from the 1930s that were preserved by that moldy carpet. So, I can tell you a bunch of times we were, where we were extremely, extremely lucky. We created that luck, but that luck is not guaranteed. So we feel that it was the stars really aligned for us. The timing was right. The metrosexual movement started in 2000, and that was a game changer for us as well. But going back to the creation of the products, what was really incredible for us is that for the first 18 months of starting our company, we didn't have our own products. We had other brands. And we just listened to our customers every day, telling us what they wanted, what they weren't finding in the marketplace, what they were experiencing while shaving. And that became a sort of a focus group, a real focus group. And hundreds of men were telling us the exact same thing. We want fragrance-free products. We want products that are for sensitive skin. When I shave too close, I get irritation. And that became the insights we used to build the entire product line. So, when people say, you guys hit it out of the park, how did you create such a beautiful brand? We just did what customers told us to do and what wasn't available out there. So
let me ask you this. You said your wife actually created some of your first products, and the thought that
yes.
went through my head was, okay, here's a woman creating a product for men. So is she creating what she thinks men would want, or is she
No.
creating? Okay.
Okay, here's another anecdote. So I'm working now. I'm employed in the men's grooming industry. Old English, I discovered the shaving brush, great shaving cream. It improves my quality of my shave. I'm in the industry. And my wife's father had this whole thing throughout his life. He used to use Baby Johnson oil on his face before shaving cream. And he says it helped the razor glide. But my wife and I are into natural ingredients. She was studying aromatherapy at the time. And she says, I'm going to use that idea, but instead of using, petrochemicals, basically, I'm going to use natural botanical oils. And so she used olive oil, she used castor oil, essential oils of lavender, sandalwood, black pepper, and cloves. And she made me this pre-shave oil that I used with my brush and the cream from my job. Had the best shave of my life. no irritations for the first time. And, we had to park that because we had no money to manufacture until 18 months after starting the business. We went back to those formulas, cleaned up the shaving cream we were selling under our own brand, went to manufacturers to get aftershave balm made, private label shaving brushes, make some fancy handles. And we, little by little, we launched 5 products in 98. In 1999, we launched 37 products based on the success of those 3 products. It was, usually brands don't launch that many products, but because we had our whole store to fill up, we decided to go big. And by doing that for the wrong reason, we became perceived as a specialized expert in the luxury shaving category. So Neiman Marcus came calling in 1999. We did a deal with them, and then it was all off to the races. And my job at that point was to not screw it up. I mean, that was my main goal.
Now, were you still working full time when you launched the shop in '96?
No, as soon as the 20X New York Times article happened, we could support our lives without having a job, on the side. So I quit my job and I spent all my focus on the art of shaving. I opened the second store. I managed one store. My wife managed the other store. And then we started hiring people and so forth. So we were managing the business in between helping customers. The real mom and pop story gone right.
Yeah, definitely gone right. I got to ask. So the beginning, the first store was just selling products, not actually doing the
That's
work.
right.
No shaving in that first store. So
only for that 3-day event. Yeah. It was actually 10 by 20, the store. So it's just tiny little, smallest store we could get our hands on.
All right. So you get into business as a distributor. Then you say, oh my gosh, we can be a barbershop, a high-end barbershop. So then, and we've had Jessica Dennehy on as well. So then you get into the actual service providing, right? So I went from a distributor to a service provider. Now I'm a product manufacturer. I mean, those are 3 distinct businesses, and yet you were able to kick the shit out of all 3 of them. Here I am still trying to slog along in a stupid service business, and I can't do that right after 17 years.
And I just need to let you know, this happens on every episode where Chris is just really jealous, but go ahead and revel in it.
It's true. And he keeps going, it's good. It's tough luck. It's tough luck. And then he was thanking his wife.
Was that a question?
My wife is sitting there going, wham, wham, wham.
When are you going to make more money, Chris?
So when did you go distributor? All right, let's do the shaving. We're going to start to provide a service.
Well, after we did that event, and it was such a success with the New York Times, and the next store we had the resources to open a store on Madison Avenue. And the store was perfectly built. It was this long store with staircase and a small room in the back. So the barber shop was in the back on the down the stairs. And I immediately thought, listen, this is incredible to have a barber shave customers, and then they get off the chair, they buy all of our products like a doctor gave you a prescription, right? So I said, I need to do this, 7 days a week. So we decided to open an elevated form of barber shop, which we called the gentleman barber shop, barber spa, because my wife had a bit of a spa background. So she was able to create these beautiful mix of traditional wet shaving barber services with spa services. The combination of those two gave us a little bit of an innovative edge. And we hired barbers, we trained them. And we started to use our products. Actually, at first, we didn't have our own products. We started to shave customers, and customers I literally would get out of the chair, come to the register with a bunch of products, and ask me, how do you make money on Madison Avenue charging $35 for a shave? And, they were buying $400 worth of products along with it. So, I was like, I don't know. It'll be $435, please.
So going to
So it
Madison
was a
Ave,
great mousetrap. It was a great mousetrap, and it became something the press loved because we were innovative in the area of men's barbershop. Until then, in your city, it was the $8 haircut, right? $12 shaves. So it was real innovation, and it ignited a whole industry. Now you go anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, you're going to see elevated barber shops that they will tell you was probably prompted by what we did back in the 90s.
unreal. It's all right. So you open the Madison Ave, your mom and pop in it. You're running one store, she's running the other. You guys are probably working like business owners, 24/7, working like dogs, just doing it.
Right.
Launch these products. Nordstrom's calling, or Neiman Marcus, whoever's calling, whoever, you're just killing it. And then you say, okay, we're going to make all these products. When did you start to pivot to the brand and the products and start to get out of the mom and pop?
So right away, when the second store on Madison Avenue started to do really well, right away we had the resources, and we said, first of all, what prompted us to do our own products is that our suppliers were becoming very difficult with us. They wanted a piece of the business, and we felt that our livelihood was being challenged. So we said, listen, we have to make our own products so we don't depend on anyone else's brand. And we launched 3 products to test it out. Very homemade kind of products that we had manufactured locally. We tested the thesis. Those products became our best sellers overnight. And then we said, okay, we're ready. Let's go full tilt. Let's build this product line, this brand, 37 products, a bunch of accessories, razors, brushes. We need to fill this entire store eventually with our brand, because in those days we were looking at stores like the Body Shop or Crabtree and Evelyn or Kiehl's, and they had retail stores all over the country, and they only had their products, but we had other people's products. And I said, that's the future, right? We need to control our supply chain. We need to control our destiny. And in doing that, we became a luxury consumer brand in the process.
Love this. And so you moved into a brand just by developing the product. You know, the brand became the brand, but really it comes about delivering that great product and service to build on the brand as you're doing that.
And again, yeah.
Did you open more stores, or at that point where you said,
Yeah, we opened more stores. You know, we were kind of bullish. So we opened a store on Wall Street. We're like, where can we find men, right? Wall Street, big mistake. That didn't work out because...
Really? Wait.
Well, yes.
You finally had a mistake?
We finally hit a mistake because...
let's talk about that mistake, Chris.
Hell, I was 3 days into my business and it already made like 1,000 mistakes. No, but
look, we thought it was
like it'd be solid. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a no-brainer. I was like, yeah, Wall Street, all the men work there. But what I forgot is that we did 40-50% of our business on the weekends. And Wall Street is completely shut down after Friday at 4:00.
Yeah,
so they're all gone. And the real hot shots, you don't see them walking the streets. It's the little brokers that are walking the streets. So it didn't really do well. It didn't do horribly bad, but it didn't do. We were used to just opening stores and having a grand old time, ringing the register. But that was a great lesson. And then because of an article in the American Airlines magazine, American Air, I don't know what they call this magazine they have on the planes. This executive at Neiman Marcus saw a whole feature of us with our barbershop on Madison Avenue, got off the plane, called me and said, listen, we are interested in opening a barber shop for men in our flagship store in Dallas. Would you be interested in speaking to us? And I said, hello. Is that a trick question, buddy?
Yeah, right.
So I was there.
When and where?
I was there, 15 minutes later, I was in Dallas.
Well, I was going to ask you, so Neiman Marcus, did they also carry your products in the store?
So we first opened the store with them in late 1999 on the second floor of the downtown Dallas shop. We put our products in that store and we had barbers there. We did mostly the executives because that store was not a very, very big store for them, but it housed the entire management of Neiman Marcus globally in that building. So they all became our customers. I befriended the global VPs and the presidents of Neiman Marcus, and that was a great place to get started because it was like having a fox in a hen house, if you will. Um, after the store was open, I went to the buyers and I said, we want to sell our products in all your stores. You have 32 stores. Give us access to all that. And there's a whole story about that as well, if you have time. But eventually they gave us access to distribution, and that really put us on the map. That was a huge credential for a luxury brand to be sold at Neiman Marcus.
So just for our listeners, if somebody out there has got a product, you hear the stories about, I have a product and suddenly Walmart wants to carry it. And then when I got in bed with Walmart, I lost money because, so how did you know how to structure that deal?
So first of all, luxury and mass are different animals. So you cannot give the same advice to somebody going into a Neiman's as somebody going into a Walmart. Walmart, if you don't have strong backbones, they can kill your company, right? If it doesn't work out, it can really be your demise. So what we did with Neiman Marcus, again, we leveraged our asset. We were very profitable with our stores. Our stores were churning out huge profits, so we were not dependent on Neiman Marcus for profitability and for survival. So we were able to reinvest all the dollars they gave us back into the relationship. And we always made sure that we at least broke even, right? We didn't want to be bled to death. When it comes to Walmart, that's a different animal. But the biggest lesson I tell entrepreneurs is, don't bite more than you can chew. Be patient. Build yourself. Become strong. You don't win the Super Bowl because you just walked on the field. You have 10 years or 15 years of preparation. If you're great, if you're lucky, if you're talented, if you have grit. Same thing for entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs need to understand that patience is your greatest friend. You need to have urgency, but a lot of patience. And
I must have a lot of patience.
You need
Eric,
to get some.
I think I have a lot of fucking patience.
You have too much patience, man.
I must have had too much patience, not enough urgency. I'm about to go out. I'm actually going to buy some of your products, go out there and start whipping my guys. Look, hey, see the shaving brush? Whack, 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 whack. See the shaving?
Maybe if your guys use his products.
Yeah, we sell straight razors too.
Now we're talking. I've never done anything. That was Eric.
You can slash a tire with a straight razor.
Well, I mean, can't
slash the throat with a straight razor.
Yeah. Well, it was a blade, but it was not. All right. So Eric, obviously, today here we are, 96. You did all of this before anything digital was even around. The .com boom was in 2000.
Yeah.
And so you're doing all of this. Tell us how you pivoted through the digital in the beginning, because I think we're going through another disruption, if you will, with AI. And people think this is the first time ever. It's so funny listening to younger people. Oh my God, this is like the best thing ever. I'm like, yeah, let me tell you about the 2000s. And then older people say, well, let me tell you about the advent of TV. so
that's
hang on.
Right. Those are tools, right? P&G used to advertise on radio before they advertised on TV, before they advertised on billboards and so forth. Right now, they advertise on social and digital. These are just mediums, right? They're tools. AI is a tool. All participants have access to the same tools. It's really a race to the most creative, talented and clever, right? So, I remember our first website, you had to dial up. It looked horrible. It looked horrible. You couldn't buy products, and little by little, it became another channel of distribution. In those days, we were not pushing products online. We were just servicing customers that were loyal to our products and wanted the convenience of buying it online. Sometimes they had offices 3 blocks away from our store. They would buy the products online because they knew they just replenishing, right? It was selling eggs and milk, and they just needed to buy it again. They didn't want to be inconvenienced to walk over to the store. Other people lived in Kansas. They had discovered our products in Vegas or in New York. Now they wanted to reorder. So the website became about 10-12% of our business consistently as we grew. And it's not until really after I exited the business that people started to really push Facebook ads and Instagram to really become digital native brands, right? And in those 10 years between 2010 and 2020, retailers like me were called dinosaurs, right? We were going to the graveyard. After 2020, when it became more competitive and privacy laws made it more difficult to be profitable digitally, now we see a balance between the online and offline, and retail has come back after COVID very strong. So we see a synergy between all these worlds, what we call the omnichannel distribution.
You're saying the privacy laws are pushing people back to the brick and mortar? I've never heard that.
No, what they call the Facebook. Facebook had these, or was it Apple had these new regulations that made it more difficult to target customers and so forth. So it became more expensive, and then everybody wanted digital business, and the big brands were spending so much money it was hard for smaller companies to compete. So now we're seeing a mix of business between, third-party retail, wholesale business, brick and mortar, and digital.
Interesting. Yeah, obviously I'm not in that space that you're talking about, but the omni-channel marketing, I love that because that can work for a lot of us. Again, you have to have resources to pull it off, but you can do it. You mentioned the word exit. If everything is going so awesome and you're kicking the shit out of everything, why exit? And was it planned?
It's it was planned. I was building this company to sell it to a strategic. And when you build a brand, brands are not like regular companies that are just focused on profitability, right? If my company was highly profitable, I wouldn't sell it, because a company is valued on multiples of EBITDA. So 3, 5, 6, 7, 8 times EBITDA. My company actually was losing money when we sold. The unit economics were strong, but the P&L as a whole was negative. Brands can be valued on a multiple of sales. So, when somebody wants to offer you $100 million for a company that's generating 30 million in sales, and no profitability, I mean, it's a real no-brainer.
I got 203. I'll take the 100 million. I have no profit, but I don't have the 30.
Yes. You're so close.
Yeah. So that was your strategy? I mean, so 96, you mentioned, we're young, we did this, we got going. Obviously you saw the brand happening and you said, to build, because that's a whole different model. In my world, I do have to be profitable because, I feel like I got a great brand, but I'm still a home service provider in a local geographic market.
That's right.
So you had to have a whole different mindset at the time.
A whole different mindset.
That had to be hard to explain to your wife.
No, not at all. My wife is a brand builder like I am. She's very gifted, and she's a perfectionist, which is something highly useful when you're building a luxury brand. You need a creator behind the brand that is obsessive about every detail and a real police of the brand so that nobody, tarnishes it. In my case, since 2002, I had a target price, target date where I wanted to build this brand and sell it. and that's what I was working towards.
So you were more of the CEO. She's more the COO. Is that how you guys would? Okay.
She was the
Chief Creative
scientist.
Officer. She was.
Yeah, she was the creative officer, but she's really a scientist. I was really the entrepreneur of the two, so I handled all the business, leadership, supply chain, all the fun stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then she did a lot of the creative, visual, marketing campaigns and so forth, and the science behind the products, if you will.
All right. So congratulations on your exit, and
Thank you.
then what? So they talk about this a
Then
lot.
is what
We
Well,
all talk about this.
he wrote a book.
So yeah, just a little bit.
Well, the exit wasn't a walk in the park either, right? There was a 15-month negotiation that was interrupted by the 2008 financial crisis. So
Whoops.
a little bit of a stress makes for good stories, but I don't recommend going through it. I
need to write
went
another
from
book. Good stories.
I was I was negotiating to sell my company for a crap load of money, and next thing I know, I'm talking to bankruptcy lawyers, right? Real fun stuff. But we made it happen. And we stayed on with P&G, which was wonderful for 18 months. Learned a bunch of stuff about corporate America. And
Is that sarcasm?
No, not at all. I mean,
Really?
Their discipline to branding and marketing is infamous.
That's
so
true. Yeah, that's true.
To be able to be a fly on the wall for 3 years was incredible school for me. But once we left the company, we had a couple of babies in our hands, and it's what I call the morning after syndrome, right? Entrepreneurs that are lucky enough to sell their business sometimes find themselves the morning after, right? You've lost your job basically in exchange for, a nice amount of money, hopefully. And you don't know what you're going to do. I had no clue what I was going to do. I had no plans. I didn't have to get a job, but it's not healthy to be just doing nothing. So
yeah, clearly that doesn't seem like you either. So you had to do something.
well, I had two babies. I had two babies at home. My wife and I transitioned um, from running a global brand to being at-home parents, and that was a blessing, but a tough transition nonetheless, right? The brain doesn't really recognize a positive life transition with a negative one, right? We do. We're sad or happy, but we transitioned. It was a shock to the system for us to go through that change. Completely upended our lives. We didn't see the people we saw every day. We didn't have a place to go every day. We had a couple of babies. And I started to rebuild my life and figure out what I wanted to do when I grow up at that point, back to the drawing board. So that was a process. And for me, I approached it like I approach business, in a very methodological way, whatever it
is. You could tell
whatever that is.
You can tell you've slowed down a lot in your cadence since this happened. So this was a big part of your life, is that you ran. You sold. You're at home. You're with your kids, and as we all do as fathers, is that's very important. But you weren't completely fulfilled. I mean, I'm putting words in your mouth, but I can see you pause for a minute there.
100%. Well, first of all, I was working since I was 16 years old. I didn't really take care of my health as well as I should. Emotionally, I was a little bit raw. And what happened to me was real life blessing, because at the same time, I achieved all of my life's dreams. And while I was feeling pretty hollow inside, it really did not fill the void that I had and the anxiousness that I had felt most of my life. Like a lot of people, I thought selling my company, having babies, living in a beautiful place, having a beautiful wife. All these things are going to make me happy, but it just doesn't work out that way. So at that moment, I realized a few things. I realized that what was in front of me was fatherhood. So my kids became my number one priority. My dad wasn't around. So for me, it was really important to be there for my kids. My health was a huge priority. I wanted to expand spiritually, emotionally, and physically. And the third pillar was the financial blessings we had. You have to manage that and make sure it doesn't go away. You were lucky enough to have it. You don't want to mismanage that. So that became my job, right? Fatherhood, health, and investing our assets.
0 for 3, Chris.
I'm done.
Vegas. Yeah, gout. Okay.
Vegas, gout. Still drink bourbon while we're doing the podcast. Still haven't thought about my health. My kids, who
Whatever.
cares? They're still on the freaking payroll. Although I was
they're on the
complaining.
payroll.
So once again, our guests are better than us.
Oh yeah,
But
I did say, I'll just brag for a minute. I was telling somebody, I'm like, my kids are still. What are they doing? Well, one's a PA and one's a lawyer in law school. She goes, oh, so you have a doctor and a lawyer, huh? Oh yeah, you're really hard. I'm like, well, that's a different story. But so Eric, I know we're coming to the end. What are you doing now? Tell us. You came on the podcast. How can people find you? Obviously, great story. Amazing. Yes, I am in total envy.
So what I do now is obviously I manage our investments, and for fulfillment, I mentor, I coach, and I invest in young entrepreneurs trying to come up in the luxury beauty and men's grooming industry. And that's what really is my way of paying it forward and helping the next generation of entrepreneurs avoid some of the pitfalls that I've learned about along the way.
it didn't sound like you had very many pitfalls, though, Eric.
I'm going to say no.
Well, I believe my
As a guy who had a
philosophy.
shit ton of them, and they were really deep. Mine were really, really.
Don't forget, my pitfalls happened before I started the art of shaving. Like many entrepreneurs, I had failures before I had successes. So I've learned.
That's actually a great point. You're right.
I've learned the hard way.
We're hearing the good story, but there's a lot that
I-
had to happen before that, right?
Yeah, the art of shaving was my fourth company, even though I was only 28. And my third company wiped me out. So I've learned a few things along the way, but we had good instincts, and it's really part of my thesis. And what I teach entrepreneurs is, 90% of startups will fail statistically. I mean, this is proven statistics.
100%.
And they fail because of a few basic pitfalls. So if you avoid those pitfalls, you're avoiding 90% of the problems. Then potentially you'll have the chance to survive long enough to find success. So you do have to avoid the pitfalls in order to find success at the end. Too many entrepreneurs are smart. They find success in the beginning. They're hardworking. They have good ideas. And then 5 years later, they're done. And that's because they've made too many mistakes along the way. That's a little bit of my purpose in this world right now, is to teach entrepreneurs how to avoid those pitfalls.
Well, Alan, it sounds like his target market is not you and me, since you are sitting there with stubble on your face and I am old, and you are older. So he's looking for young people who want to get
walking into the pits.
Actually, my audience has no age or gender. It's really about the stage you're at as an entrepreneur. So it's for early stage entrepreneurs is my audience. You could be at any age starting out on that journey.
And so are those things that you cover in your book, the pitfalls?
Some of them. The book is really telling my story and the lessons I've learned along the way. But since writing the book, I've really developed my talks. I'm doing a TED Talk soon about those pitfalls, and I really developed the principles, what I call the 8 principles of winning at the game of startups, is really what I'm focused on. It's probably, if I have it in me, the next book I'm going to write is going to be more of a business. This one was a memoir. This will be more focused on the how to or the how not to.
I love it. How do people find you, Eric?
Eric Malka, just type it in. You should be able to find me. There's not too many of me and with that combination of names.
Finally, I have something in common with Eric. I do not have I have a very unique name, Chris Lalamia. I have one thing in common with Eric. That's it. Oh, and I've written a book. Other than that,
so-
I'm an abject failure.
I'm sure we have a lot more in common than that. But Eric Malka, you can find me at strategicbrandinvestments.com, ericmalka.com, on LinkedIn, on Instagram. I'm all over the place.
Love it. He's omni-channel, omni-focused.
He's amazing.
You know, I've got to ask though, I'm going to ask the 4 questions because what is a book you would recommend to our audience
that you didn't write?
That you didn't write? Of course, I would recommend From the Zoo to the Wild, but you know.
From Good to Great is always a classic.
Yeah.
Good to Great is always, that was a game changer when I read that. 7 Habits, there's some classics out there.
Yeah. What's the favorite feature of your current home?
500% increase in value over the last 5 years.
Finally, the first real answer.
And another thing you don't have in common.
500% increase. I do over 20.
He's laughing.
Holy shit balls. That was hilarious.
I don't think you should ask any
real answer right there. Yeah. You know what? So you're not moving, are you? Oh, no.
I can't.
You can't. I know, right? I can't. That's why
I can't buy back in.
I just got done telling people I got a 2.75% mortgage. Oh yeah, what are you gonna do? I'm gonna sell my house. Or you are, huh? What are you gonna buy? Nothing, right? Because you can't afford the rest.
That's right. I'm stuck.
How old are your kids now?
They're late teens, 15 and 17.
Do they like still hanging out with you? That's not one of the questions, but I love that one.
Yeah. Listen, I'm very proud of that. My oldest loves hanging out with me.
Shit. Why do you do that to yourself?
I know.
My youngest hangs out with me when he needs something.
Oh, so my oldest, my daughter, she only, in fact, calls I get now are always, Dad, I just need more money. No.
Yeah, that's the call.
Yeah. No, that's a great age. I actually started my business as they were both one in middle school and one in grade school. And I was the one who was around a lot while my wife was out traveling and working a ton as I was growing the business.
Yeah.
So, but
I'm not looking to be their friends. I mean, I consider myself the parole officer at this point.
Oh,
I mean, that's I'm not a dad. I'm a parole officer. I track them. I test them. I'm not here to make friends. I have enough of that.
I promise you, my friends, my kids will attest I'm not their friend. But no, we have a great relationship, and Alan has 3 amazing boys as well. And so his son, who's the user of your product, is over in Belgium getting his PhD in some kind of
something smarter than us.
So I can't even explain it, but it's all about world geopolitics and whatever. So I don't think he'll be an entrepreneur just yet, but I still think he's going to find out that he can't make as much money doing that as he can be an entrepreneur.
He could be a great entrepreneur.
He will. Yeah. I know he's going to do it.
I know
he's going to. He's going to do it.
It might surprise you.
Eric, this has been a great conversation, man. Thank you so much for coming on the pod.
Thank you, guys.
That was a great story. Love that success. This is a great story for all of us, right? If you think about it again, man, he did it in three different business models, right? Distributor, service provider, and then product manufacturer, and then figured out a way to build a brand and sell a brand. Maybe that's not you, but you picked up something today. And if you didn't pick up something today, man, that's on you. You got to learn something each and every day. If we're not getting better every day, we're getting worse. Go out there, get better, make it happen. We're going to get up that mountain. We got to go.
Cheers, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Small Business Safari. Remember, your positive attitude will help you achieve that higher altitude you're looking for in the wild world of small business ownership. And until next time, make it a great day.